So here's a summary of my August centuries. I rode 7, 6 on the weekend days, and 1 on Friday the 16th. The first one was the Santa Cruz Mountain Challenge, one of my favorite rides, but it's very difficult with 11,600 feet of climbing. Starts at Scotts Valley High School, goes up to Skyline, down to Big Basin, up Jameson Creek, around and about, and up Zayante, then back. And that's the profile. The Skyline climb is kind of up and up and up, and then it's fun to get down to Big Basin. Then Jameson Creek is a struggle. Zayante is a long climb. It seems like it goes on forever. Then got back to the high school. I saw Maura at the first rest stop. She was actually just before the first rest stop at the corner of Highway 9 and Skyline. And she was ringing a cowbell. So I turned around and came back to give me some more cowbell. At the second rest stop in Boulder Creek, I spent a little time with Virginia in the middle there and her friend Chris and Ed, who's not featured, and that's me on the right. The next day, I rode from my house up to Becky Burkus for her birthday to meet up with some friends and some people I haven't met before. It was a kind of an easy ride, and it was definitely needed after the day before, my 37th of the year. Started from home and where the red dot is, went up to Party Central at the top in Dublin, went headed west and went south back to home. There's Party Central in Dublin, and I didn't realize my route took me up a little bit of a climb, which I could have done without after the prior day's ride, but I made it. Got almost home before I called for someone to come get me. Can't stand climbing that hill when I'm tired. Here we are with Poodoo and the Pussycats. That's Jason and Mr. Melville, Gabby, the birthday princess, Becky, and Denise. And here I am with a couple of my friends from Southern California, John Clare and Teresa Beck. The next week, I led an CTC ride. I rode from home over to the Los Gatos Park and Ride, and then up to Half Moon Bay and back. 127 miles, a lot of climbing, Century 38. This is the route from my house over to Los Gatos, and then up to Half Moon Bay and back. It is one of my favorite rides, and I love having lunch up at Half Moon Bay. First big climb with the team up to Skyline, then when we get back up Kings Mountain, so not too bad, but a little bit of climbing. Here we are at the bike hut. I donated 2 benches, and there's one of them. I'm sitting there. Next to me is Manny, and behind me is the other Manny, and next to Manny is Manuel. So I had the 3 M's with me. Then here we are again at Roberts Market in Woodside, almost home, not far. On the 16th, I joined a club ride. This was a Friday the 16th. Rode 100 miles, not too much climbing, number 39. Started at my house, went around and about different places and down to the reservoirs with the folks. And here's what it looked like. Just a couple of climbs, Shannon, Buffalo Hill, and then back up to my house. Here we are at the Uvis Reservoir. There was actually a helicopter landing there from Moffett Field, but we didn't get to see it. We left before he landed. And from left to right, it's me, Kirsten McDaniel, Vic Oros, Tom Green, Kristen, Dr. Kristen, we call her Dr. Purple, Doug Rawson, Dwight Martin, Lisa Curran, and Lisa's friend, Lynn. It was a beautiful day, some wispy clouds. On Sunday, 2 days after that ride, I did the tour of Napa Valley with Ken and Steve. It's one of my favorite rides. 100 miles exactly, 5,000 feet of climbing, century number 40. And this is a very familiar route. I've done it several times, and I always suffer going up Inc grade. That is a painful climb that I do very slowly. Here I am with my spotted ass buddies, Ken and Steve, looking forward to Furnace Creek 508 again this year to support them. And here we are with Chris and Ken and Megan and Steve and me at the lunch stop. On the 25th, I led the Legion of Honor Century. I do 2 or 3 times a year, 105 miles because I started from a different location than everyone else. 6,500 feet of climbing. Century 41. And that's what the route looks like. And here is the elevation gain. It looks like it'd be a lot more climbing than 6,500 feet, but that's all it is. None of the climbs are too high. Here are the girls of ACTC. That's Dr. Purple, Peggy Big Data Z, Sylvie Big Miles M, and Kirsten Fancy K, the Fancy Skater. And here we all are at the Legion of Honor. In the front row, we have Tim, Mr. iPad Mini, Sylvie, Peggy, Kristen, Kirsten, and Tina. On the back row, we have Jason, who deigned to join us, Brian Chun, Rick, Carl, John, Victor, Manuel, Dennis, and yours truly. For some reason, I was leaning in. I don't know why. On the 31st, I joined an Alberton Cycle Touring Club ride led by John, my buddy, and John Kaplan. He calls it Coastal Climbs and Cruising, 115 miles, 8,500 feet of climbing, number 42 of the year. We went up the coast to Half Moon Bay for lunch at one of my favorite places, and then back down. At the very beginning of the ride, we go up and up and up to top of Empire Grade, and the rest of the ride's not too difficult. Here's the bike hut again. Those 2 benches I donated a couple of months ago to the bike hut. I'm glad I did, and they're very comfy. And here are some sailboarders out on the Pacific Ocean on Highway 1 just north of Davenport. They're always out there. It's a great place to sailboard, I guess. September, I'm in for a lot of rides. Actually, 5 I'm hoping to get in, and maybe more. But I'm closing in on number 52.